Remember that amazing little cafe you discovered last summer? Or that perfect hiking spot you heard about? With the Overlook mobile app, you can create personalized lists of places you've been and want to go, and always see everything on a map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or keep your secret spots private for you. The best part? No ads cluttering your lists, and no one selling your interests or travel data. Download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Nashville to see some CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you.
Today on CityCast Nashville, it's back to school time. With our kids returning to school tomorrow, we decided to chat with Nashville's Teacher of the Year, Natalie Williams, about what we can expect this coming school year, how schools are dealing with funding changes, and ways parents can help. It's Monday, August 4th. I'm Hey Nashville newsletter editor and MNPS second grade parent Margaret Kingsbury, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Before we jump into this conversation with Natalie, I wanted to share why I think the work we do here at CityCast Nashville is so important and why I think y'all should become a CityCast Nashville neighbor for only $10 a month, less than the 5 packs of Crayola crayons I had to buy my kid for school supplies. When I first became a mom, I had so many questions. Where were the kid-friendly spaces? What were the schools like here? Was Nashville even a good place to raise children? I started experiencing a whole new Nashville as a mom, and now as the Hey Nashville newsletter editor, I try to answer some of those questions. And not just questions for parents, but questions we all have about our city and how to make it better. From the best new restaurants to newly passed bills that will impact our lives. For only $10 a month, you can help support our mission to connect people to Nashville as a CityCast Nashville neighbor. Plus, you can hang out with me at members-only events. I can't wait to meet you. Become a member at membership.citycast.fm. And now I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, our Teacher of the Year. So a lot happened in the previous school year. There were the ICE raids and the Antioch school shooting. How are teachers feeling about this school year? How are you feeling?
Yeah, last year was incredibly tough and very heavy emotionally. And I cannot speak on behalf of all teachers in the district. But for me personally, I think I'm just entering this school year trying to remain grounded and knowing that I cannot focus on everything that's happening around me. But what I can focus on is just creating a classroom environment that feels supportive and safe for students. And so I'm just focusing my energy on being a consistent presence for students. And so, yeah, I'm excited to welcome them through the doors.
Do you feel safe at school?
I do feel safe. You know, safety is our top priority. We have a lot of protocols and things that are in place in order to help students feel prepared in case of an emergency. But I also think that safety goes beyond just the physical aspect. I think that safety can stem from belonging and building trust and relationships. And when students feel cared for, that emotional safety deepens. And so I think with those things combined, I do feel safe at school.
How do you establish that with students, that sense of caring and trust?
Yeah, I think it's just by building relationship, showing that you're interested in what they're interested in, and just taking time to check in. You know, first thing in the morning as a classroom teacher, I have something called a classroom emoji board, and they can show how they're feeling just starting their day, and it might shift throughout the day, but it just allows me to get a sense of where they're at and how I can best support them.
That's really cute.
Thank you.
I need an emoji board, I think.
Yes, we all
for
do.
My workday. Yeah. Do you think there could be anything additional in place with schools to make them safer?
You know, Metro has done a lot to help assist with that. And one of the big initiatives is we have seen a resource officer in schools, which I think is just reaffirming. It feels good to know that there's another person in the building who's helping to manage our safety. And so I think that that's been a really good thing in place.
Going back to the ICE raids, I've read that some immigrant parents have kept their students home from school out of fear. Did any of your students miss school last semester?
So at my school, we do not have a large EL population or immigrant population. So I have not personally seen this, but across the district, it certainly has been a real cause for concern. It's affected many families and communities within our district. But I think that MNPS has done a really good job of reassuring families by reminding them that student information is protected under federal law. So at the end of the day, every student deserves to feel welcome and supported. And I think that's what the district has tried to uphold.
Hopefully there won't be any issues this school year with that.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's also been a lot of upheaval with school funding. It seems like there's a new article every day about school funding worries. So the Trump administration recently unfroze $118 million for Tennessee schools, which was supposed to be released earlier in the year. And pandemic-era funding has ended for public schools. Plus, there's the school voucher program, taking public school funding for private school kids. Have you noticed any changes in our schools because of these funding losses?
Well, it's funny. The temporary federal funding caused concern, absolutely. But thankfully, as you stated, those have been released. I will say Metro government has really done an amazing job in supporting our schools. They've stepped up and invested in them by continuing programs like Promising Scholars and Accelerating Scholars. And then beyond that, they've made investments for helping with staffing and high quality materials. So while it was cause and is cause for concern, our government has really done a nice job of supporting our school system.
This is likely going to be an ongoing conversation that we have.
Yes, many more articles to come.
Yeah. So Dr. Battle and the school board recently approved a $6.5 million settlement for former school employees who claimed that she had unfairly retaliated against them. How do you feel about that settlement?
I have not had a chance to really dig into a lot of those conversations. We are moving into a brand new building as a school, and so my energy has been focused in trying to get everything set up at our school, and so I haven't really had a chance to look into a lot of that.
That's exciting for you, Percy Priest Elementary, right?
Yes. We're excited to welcome kids into a brand new building with fresh paint and lots of hard work in the classrooms that teachers have done. So,
not all recent school news has been bad. So Tennessee recently passed a law that elementary school kids will get 40 minutes of recess, which is great. What will that look like?
I'm excited about this, actually. I think it's a great move. I think kids need time to be able to play and also just to reset. And I think extra recess is going to provide them the opportunity to also practice skills like teamwork and social skills. So I'm excited to see how it plays out, but I think it's a really good move.
Yeah, my daughter always says that recess is her favorite class at school. So
yes.
I know she's going to be excited about it.
Lunch and recess are always the top rated.
Yeah. She says PE as well. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Tennessee lawmakers have also proposed a 4-day school week. This is just in talks. It hasn't passed or anything. I'm not sure if you saw that, but how do you feel about a 4-day school week?
I think it would be nice to have 4 days because that means you have a little bit extra time to kind of take care of yourself, but also you have the time to plan and put things in place to make your instruction just that much better. So I don't know how they would make it work logistically, but to talk about it seems exciting.
Yeah, I think the main problem is going to be with the parents not having a 4-day work week.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Childcare would be very problematic.
Yeah. TCAP scores were recently released, and 33% of Nashville third graders scored proficient in reading. While TCAP scores did raise in Nashville for Nashville students, it still, as a parent, that seems low, like 33% seems like a low percentage. Is it possible to bring these scores up? What needs to happen?
Absolutely. First off, I would say it's a valid concern, but we are seeing steady growth across the district. And I think that's what's most important to tune into. You know, we are part of a very big and diverse district, and so students are coming in at all different access points. And in my new role this year, I will be serving as our school's literacy coach. And so what I will be doing is helping to push some of the initiatives from the district to help support teachers in using these high quality materials and strong instruction and targeted interventions to help keep moving the needle and keeping that momentum going. So I'm actually very encouraged by the growth that's been happening in our district.
And it sounds like you feel like that targeted reading instruction is going to help a lot with
Absolutely.
the students. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely think that the district is paying attention to the things that are working, not only within our district, but in other areas as well, and really trying to implement those to help grow students.
Do you feel like TCAP testing is a fair way to judge how students are doing?
You know, I do think it gives us some helpful information, but I don't think it's the only thing to look at. You know, it doesn't measure curiosity. It doesn't measure resilience or creativity. And I think those are some traits that are really important in today's day and age. And so I would say standardized tests are helpful, but they're only one piece of the puzzle, and it's not the whole story.
That's kind of where I land on it, too. So this is kind of a similar question, but a lot of Nashville schools don't score particularly high on websites like greatschools.com, though Percy Priest is actually an exception to that. It has a really high score.
Woohoo!
Yeah, but most metro schools do not. What would you say to parents that are worried about those numbers?
I understand the concern. Ratings are really hard to not look at. But I also would say what I firmly believe, and that is that exposure matters. I would tell parents to get in the schools, to tour them, to talk with the teachers, to see what the kids are doing in the classrooms. Because I think you might be surprised at what you find, and you just never know until you get out there and kind of dig into it yourself.
How did you become Teacher of the Year?
That is something that I am still shocked about. I am extremely humbled. And honestly, I think it's just a reflection of the people that I get to collaborate and work with every day and learn from. You know, I think part of it is that I build relationships, as I stated earlier. That's really important to me. As a child, I moved around a lot with my family. And so schools always served as a place of community for me. And I just try to keep that in mind as a teacher now and welcoming my students into my classroom every day.
I'm glad they noticed that.
Yes, I will say the recognition is very nice because teachers work so hard. And so it is just a good reminder that you are making a difference and that your work is important.
What are ways parents can help teachers and their students this coming year?
So that's a great question. I think that just staying in the loop, you know, checking emails from teachers, checking folders, but even just going as far as to ask your child how their day at school was. Because I think that this just shows the student and their child that school matters. And I think that when teachers and parents are in communication, then everything else just follows.
You know, initially when I asked my daughter that, like, how was school? It was always fine. But I found the trick is to be more specific, like, what did you do in recess? And then I get a whole long story, and then 100%. I can lead into other questions about school.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then sometimes you can't get it to stop, and it's time for bed.
Yeah, exactly. People are always like, how do you get so much information from your daughter? Well, also she's a talker, but yes. I find having more specific questions will get more responses about the school day.
That is a great strategy.
What are you most looking forward to this upcoming school year?
Oh, so as I stated, we are in a brand new building, so I am very excited for that. There has been so much energy in the building and so many people working hard to get this up and running. But it's also not just about the building itself. What makes a building is the people in it. And so I'm most excited just to be back with our community and to get to welcome kids back into a new space, but also make it feel like home for them. So I can't wait.
And do you have any advice for new teachers who might be starting in Metro this year?
I would say to just take it day by day, because you being a consistent presence in each kid's life is what really makes the biggest difference and impact. And everything else will come, but just showing up and showing your kids that you care about them and that they belong and making them feel supported, that's where it all starts. That's the foundational part.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. My school, actually, I help co-facilitate a podcast. And so this has been fun to be a part of this.
Yay. Yes. Where does the podcast, who can listen to it?
So it's actually on Apple, and it's a great way for our community to connect with our school and just kind of, we have teacher features and they get to hear about what's going on in the building. And it's just a fun way to elevate students' voices.
I love that.
Yeah. It's been fun. You never know what they're going to say, though.
Yeah, I imagine. Mine would just meow. My kid would just meow on there if you had her.
Lots of editing.
Yeah, I imagine.
But thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you. That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye!